Hello and welcome to Lemieux Reviews, where we bring you the stories you may not yet have heard of. My name is Ross Lemieux, and we are bringing you part 14 of Once and Future. Last time we left off, though, was with part 13, and the Green Knight had just shown up to challenge our hero. When we pick up with part 14, the game will be afoot, with the Green Knight challenging them all to a game. So please join us now as we dive in. The cover for Once and Future 14 has Merlin standing next to his king, sitting upon his bone throne. Merlin armed with his staff, Arthur with his blade. This comic was created by Kieran Gillen, Dan Moore, and Tamara Bonneville, distributed by Boom Studios. This issue premiered on December 16th, 2020. The Green Knight squares up with the bar patrons, challenging them to his game, but the leader of the gang is enraged by the death of one of his men. The leader orders his men to attack, and the second man immediately loses his head after charging the Green Knight. The body hits the floor, and the deranged knight tastes his blade with the blood on it. The leader screams at the bartender to get his shotgun out, and the bartender complies, firing his gun at him. The bullets end up blowing a hole in the knight's stomach, which wins the bartender an axe blow that cleans him clear in two. And then the leader gets the axe straight to his gut. All the while, the knight just repeats who will play his game. Duncan, bloody, wounded, and bruised, tries to answer the knight's call, but Rose speaks up and makes her move quicker. She stands directly in front of the knight now. She's handed the axe and confirms the rules of the game. Her hit is to be now, and his reciprocated in a year's time. Then, with encouragement from Gran, she winds up her attack. And then she plants the axe right in the skull of the Green Knight. He falls in a bloody heap. Duncan, confused, asks what's supposed to happen next. And in unison, the girls say he rises back up. But Duncan, being skeptical, moves closer to the body, sure that the knight is truly dead, only for him to be shocked and surprised when the knight springs back up into a sitting position. The Green Knight, delighted by the blow well struck, pulls the axe from his head, stands up, and begins to leave. Before exiting, he gives two ominous warnings. One of his return in a year, and the other a danger that awaits. Gran bids a far too cheery farewell to the knight and starts taking care of the dead bodies. And Duncan starts to debate Rose, but she reminds him that he is already taking on two stories and cannot take a third. And she is able to handle it, but Gran rebuffs her, pointing out she has no connection to the actual story of Gawain. You know, like being male and having brothers. Which leads to another vague warning of Gran's about the last Gawain's fate, while at the same time pillaging the place for drink and food. But Duncan interrupts, pointing out that the appearance of the Green Knight doesn't make any sense and seems convoluted. Gran seems to be unsure if it's a coincidence or a declaration of war from the other side. They are interrupted by the gang leader, who is still alive but mortally wounded. He asks for help, but Duncan realistically points out that it's far too late for him. And so Gran steps up, still wanting what they came there for, information on Mary. But the others refuse to let her torture the man. Instead, she kneels down and asks him what his name is. He answers her with She sits down next to him and offers him a smoke, though he rejects it, and lays out everything for him, how he is dying and how the stories have taken his life. He is understandably scared of the end, and says he doesn't want it. She tells him that most people are, that his bad deeds and choices are probably sending him down below. But he can make one good choice and protect people from ending up like he did, at the hands of the stories. She implores him to tell her about Rose and Galahad's father. He mutters something about a cauldron that Mary once talked about, and Grant understands the meaning immediately, and offers to speed him along. He declines and slips away right after. Duncan, weirded out by how kind she was, which gets him immediately scolded. Outside, Gran gives the marching orders. Rose is to go home and make a report, and Duncan and Gran to take Ian's ride to their next destination. Flying through the countryside on their new motorcycle, they go back to where Mary started it all, the family home. Back home in Bristol, Rose does another reading. There are dozens of hits all over the country this time. Fearing the scope is even worse than what she realizes, she runs to the kitchen to get more tools, and they all stick straight up in the map. She goes to warn Duncan, but is stopped by an intruder. There stands Mary, She has broken in to Rose's house and now holds her at gunpoint. That brings to an end part 14 of Once and Future. Rose has taken up the story of Gawain. Gawain being also known in earlier adaptations as Gwalchmai from the Welsh stories, and I apologize, I may have slaughtered that name. The man is usually depicted as someone close to Arthur, like a nephew, Gawain being the son of Arthur's sister, Morgause. And he has 4 brothers. In Welsh text, Gawain is a great warrior and a nobleman, whereas in the Vulgate cycle and Prose Tristan, he is ignoble and at times even villainous, which would leave Rose, who is trying to fill the story's shoes, with a bit of a problem on how to play along. I want to thank everyone for joining us on this issue. Please like, share, and subscribe, and let us know what you think in the comments down below. Please join again next time on part 15.